NFL analyst Reggie Bush. I love them headphones, Reggie, but no.
Right. What's up, fellas?
Reggie, we see him. Marcellus, I'm going to go to you first. Who is more likely to win the NFC? Brady's Bucs or Brees' Saints?
Oh, it's going to be Brady's Bucs. But I'm going to get through this quick because of that. That's why I'm going to go fast. Because I knew this wasn't a hard one for Reggie to prep for, saving his season tickets down there in New Orleans. So I'm going to get to you, Reggie, pretty fast here. But look, if you look at what the Bucs were able to do, everyone's talking about this offseason, what they've done offensively. Obviously, adding Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and then just shoring up all their weapons. You talk about Leonard Fournette, LaShawn McCoy, et cetera. But what we haven't taken notice of fully is how they finished off last season. Despite Jameis Winston having the turnovers, that defense in particular, how well that they played at the end of last year. So if you look at them last year, where were they? Top 5 in takeaways, and 3rd in yards allowed on defense. That's a defense that's starting to hit its stride in the latter part of last year, the final 8 weeks. Now you take all of that momentum, add it with the offensive firepower that they have, you put a GOAT as a cherry on top. I think that they're going to be able to outmaneuver what the Bucs and the Saints are going to see week 1 and throughout this entire year. So I give the slight edge to the Bucs. Let's hear it, Eric. Let's hear it, Reggie.
You're wrong. Well, first off, before my dog Reggie kills you off, I'm going to throw my dog Reggie to oop. But let me start like this, Marcellus. You're a smart man, so I like talking smart to you. If addition by subtraction can exist, then subtraction by addition can also exist. Think about the Buccaneers and think about all them egos on that squad. You got Rob Gronkowski, first ballot future Hall of Famer, comes out of retirement to play with the greatest quarterback of all time. Well, then you got Mike Evans, who's in his primary receiver. You got Chris Godwin, who's in his primary receiver. I just told y'all about Gronkowski at one tight end. Your other tight end, O.J. Howard, well, he's a first-round pick. LaShawn McCoy sitting in the backfield. Also with Leonard Fournette, who was used to getting all the touches. Oh, but then you got Ronald Jones, who is promised to be the starter. There's only one football on the field, Marcellus.
One football. Here we go.
Problems.
One football.
But besides one football, there's one quarterback. Everybody killed Jameis Winston. Oh, my God, they killed him. Reggie, you heard it. They killed him. Marcellus, you heard it. They killed him. But wait. Jameis Winston is one of only 8 quarterbacks to pass for 5,000 yards in a season. Yeah, Tom Brady did that back in 2011. Marcellus, you were probably still playing then, sir. So as much as people was hating on Jameis actually got the ball around to all them pieces. Now, I'm going to tell you about the flaws in the Buccaneers defense, which is going to be their real problem later. That's the cliffhanger. Reggie, go ahead and kill this man Marcellus off, sir.
So listen, man, that defense that you talked about, you said how well they played at the end of the season. That defense was 29th in scoring.
Talk about
it. 29th out of 32 teams. Also, they were 30th in passing. What do the Saints do well? Please remind me. They throw the football well. And who do they throw it well to? Mike Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Jared Cook, Emmanuel Sanders. We got so many options. So
yeah, you got so many you ran out.
I think people. Nah, I was gonna say Taysom Hill.
Yeah, you better not.
Taysom Hill. But why not? Taysom Hill is a dog. But at the end of the day, what it's gonna come down to is this is a very different year for a lot of those guys. They don't have a preseason that they were able to work with and to gel and to build that chemistry on the football field.
That's real.
You mean to tell me they're gonna have to overcome adversity? And that first time is going to be against the New Orleans Saints, who have won the division 3 years in a row. Come on, man. People got to have real expectations about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Wow.
Saints all day.
Wow. We over here playing to poke the hole into it. Okay. Well, it's interesting. Last time I saw Drew Brees on the field, it didn't even look like he was the best quarterback for his team, let alone the Drew Brees that we know of. Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill looked like he was the best player on both teams last time I saw the Saints out there playing. Losing to Kirk Cousins, who couldn't win a big game, but he won a big game against y'all. How big are the Saints? Here's another thing, since y'all want to play the poke the hole argument. When Alvin Kamara decided to take a 4-day absence, I don't know where he was, and the Saints didn't know either. There were conversations about trading him. And they still haven't signed a deal yet. So whatever his value is, which I think is pretty high, is not high enough to the Saints because they haven't even hit the gavel yet on how great he can be. Go, Reggie Bush, defender, running back. Go ahead.
One pushback. One pushback. I just spoke to Alvin Kamara. The deal's very close. They're about to get it done, and my dog is about to be back with the Saints, and everything is good. So we don't got to worry about Alvin Kamara.
Wait, look. We're going to get to that later. See, here, Reggie, you got to watch Marcellus.
I'm a poker.
If you're not slick, he going to move the field goal post.
Yeah, I got
you see how we had him against the ropes. He's trying to move it. And now he's trying to deflect and defer. Let's get back on topic, Marcellus.
All right, I got more.
If we don't even want to talk about the players that play within the 53 and the third width of the football field.
Oh, don't do this.
Let's talk about coaches, sir.
Let's go to war.
Sean Payton, 8 career playoff wins in 13 seasons as head coach. Bruce Arians, 1 career playoff win, 2 appearances in 6 seasons. I love B.A. I love his swag. I love his personality. I love his stances for equality. Pedo. I'm going to say pedo. I'm going to say it in Spanish. I'm not even going to say but. I'm going to say pedo. He still got some issues, bro, because B.A. hasn't shown the ability to win the big games. Sean Payton has. Now, flipping to the defensive side real quick. The Saints have a chokehold on this division. A chokehold. 37-11 in the last 3 seasons. 37-11 in the last 3 seasons. Marcellus, you're hoping, you're wishing on a prayer. You might as well take a penny out, throw it in the wishing well, and just hope that the Bucs win. Me and Reggie coming with facts. You coming with dreams, hopes, and ambitions.
That's what I'm saying, man. Listen, if we didn't have to go through this pandemic and teams, weren't forced to limit the amount of times that they could play actual games. So we have no preseason games now. So that's what I'm saying. There are so many elements that are going to play into this season that are just up against any team that has to start a different system with a new quarterback. There's going to be a learning curve. Cam Newton is about to go through the same thing up in New England. Nobody's going to hit the ground running. Everybody is going to be trying to figure this thing out for those first couple games. And all I'm saying is you don't want to be trying to figure out things against the New Orleans Saints, the NFC South defending champs.
Man, stop. You act like a dog needs like a warning, like he needs a learning curve. Dog don't need no time to stretch. He see food, he eat. And you talk about big dogs. What's a bigger dog that's going to hit the ground running in terms of a new environment and adversity than Tom Brady, the GOAT? Like, if anybody's just going to figure this thing on out before anyone else in the league, it's going to be a veteran, and it's going to be the most accomplished veteran in Tom Brady. And here's some more poking of your argument, Reggie Bush. You want to say that the Bucs were 29th in scoring last year, right? I know you didn't play defense because you were a star running back, and good to you.
I played against them, though.
You played against them, right. And what's the worst thing that can happen to a defense? When we hit that sideline, Acho, and we looking for that Gatorade and that Microsoft Surface.
Sudden change!
Sudden change! Jameis did it again! And them dudes are like, what? And they go out there, and that's why they were getting gas. You got to keep that in mind when you talk about this defense. And let's talk about the offense. 3rd in scoring last year, 3rd in passing last year, and that's with Jameis Winston. So, guys, you got to look at the details of this team and situation and realize how they've shored that up. But this is a little too friendly. Y'all trying to double team me. I played the run extremely well, even in my 10th year.
Sit on the bar stool.
I got a little rivalry, it looks like, here, and I want to settle this in terms of football greatness. I know Acho wasn't on that Texas team that beat you, Reggie, in the national championship game. But, Reggie,
he's distracting you.
Texas
Reggie.
SC.
He's distracting
my
you.
son is going to be a senior sooner than you think. Texas SC.
This is what Marcellus does, Reggie. He tries to divide and conquer. He is trying to divide and conquer. I'm not going to let you do that, Marcellus.
Okay, so it's SC. Okay, I feel you. It's SC.
Here what I'm going to do. Before we got to move on, I got to poke up the biggest hole in your argument. You said a dog ain't got to stretch, Marcellus.
He ain't got to stretch.
A dog just got to go. You want to know who has to stretch? A 43-year-old Tom Brady. That's who the heck got to stretch.
What do you mean?
Because he gonna tear a hamstring, a quad, a glute. He gonna tear something if he don't stretch.
The TB12 method. Chill. How old is Drew Brees? And how is he looking?
And Gronkowski. And Gronkowski.
And Drew Brees.
He's going to have to stretch, too.
And Drew Brees.
All them got to stretch.
Acho, need to know this. Would it be smart for the Saints to give Alvin Kamara a new deal?
It wouldn't. And I hate the man I'm becoming. I'm going to tell in front of the world, I'm going to confess to y'all. I hate the man I'm becoming because I used to be so pro player. I hung it up, 4 or 5 years ago. And I was all pro player. But now I catch myself with these jaded thoughts as a manager, Marcellus. I catch myself thinking these managerial thoughts, and it makes me sick. But I got to be honest with y'all. They shouldn't give him a new deal, and here's why. It's not that Kamara's not a beast, not that he's not a stud. It's not that he's not that dude. The problem is I don't want Kamara without having Brees. And here's what I know. This is more than likely Drew Brees' last season. Next season, if Drew Brees is in a football stadium, he'll likely be in a booth calling games. So do I want to mortgage, to a degree, my future based on a running back, and I'm not necessarily going to have the quarterback that I would like to couple him with? Think about this. Kamara's first year in the league, what did we call him? A change of pace back. Reggie, you know that definition. I, as a linebacker, know that definition all too well. Taysom Hill, what do we call him? A change of pace guy, a gadget player. Do you, as the Saints, really want to have two of your more highly paid players both be change of pace instead of the pace? Because we've all publicly said Taysom Hill's not going to be the future at quarterback, but you're paying him $16 million. Now you're going to go pay Kamara a big deal, but he can't necessarily be the workhorse down in, down out running back. Remember, if you're going to pay him these big bucks, can you put your whole franchise behind him? McCaffrey, number 1 in touches last year with about 403 or 407. Zeke, number 2 in touches last year. You can build your franchise around them. Okay, let's go to another guy. Saquon Barkley, he still missed the entirety of 3 games, but was number 11 in touches last year. Where was Kamara? Number 19 overall in touches last year. So I'm not going to talk about his game or the fact that statistically it has been declining the last 3 years, because I think that's in part due to injuries and not using him as much and as properly as he should be used. But if you're looking at it objectively, removing our opinions and our biases from it, Reggie, you have to say that it's not wise to give him that kind of deal. Right?
Well, you gave me all the reasons as to why they shouldn't use him, but then you said that it's not because of X, Y, and Z. And so when I look at Alvin Kamara and I look at this offense and I look at Sean Payton, Alvin Kamara is exactly the type of player that Sean Payton loves to use. I would even go so far as to say Sean Payton needs a player like Alvin Kamara, because ever since he drafted me in 2006, he has been signing players or utilizing players that can do a lot of different things. It was Darren Sproles, and now it's Alvin Kamara. And so these are the kinds of players that help this offense go. These are the kinds of players that Sean Payton likes to use. And so if he was just a power back, a guy that just powered up the middle every time, 3-4 yards, then I would say maybe this doesn't fit the style of play for the New Orleans Saints. But it does, and this is what they do. And it doesn't matter if Drew Brees is going to be there or not going to be there next year, because the system will not change. It could be Jameis Winston next year. All I know is that Sean Payton is going to have a plan. Sean Payton is going to have somebody to take over after Drew Brees leaves.
I'm with you, Acho, on this one for different reasons. I just want to highlight some of the question marks. When you talk about giving someone top dollar or even an extension or a new deal, it has to come with a level of certainty. And there are some question marks about the New Orleans situation that leads to uncertainty. Let's start off with the future of this offense post-Drew Brees, future of the quarterback. If you want to say give it to Taysom Hill, he's already 30 years old and, as we said, is a change of pace, gadget type of quarterback. Can you really rely on him to the fullest? Let's talk about Alvin Kamara specifically in terms of he's been declining. Whether it's because of usage, the question of that, or the question of his injuries, is he durable enough? And all of that leads to a cloud of uncertainty. But to just give it to you in athlete speak, because I'm not up here just wearing a suit because I didn't get my hand dirty in the mud, in the dirt. Acho, it's amazing when you've been retired as long as you played, because you've been out of the game 4 or 5 years. You played 4 years. I've been out the game 13 years, and I played 10. You start to look at things a little bit differently. So if I'm Alvin Kamara, I start to look at it like, man, what is going on? So full screen king time, because I'm wondering if Alvin Kamara could keep up in terms of value. Look at this. Let's start rookie year to rookie year versus Christian McCaffrey. Alvin Kamara sitting there thinking, I got him. I'm the best. Look at my scrimmage yards. I got him. Then the next year, it's like, all right, cool, no problem. He beat me. The year after that, last year, he's like, damn, where'd Chris McCaffrey go? Like, you know where he went? He damn near about to lap your butt. That's the thing, and that's why there's uncertainty towards his value. So it's interesting. We know that Christian McCaffrey got $16 million per year as he passed by Alvin Kamara. You know who also caught Alvin Kamara last year? Joe Mixon in terms of scrimmage yards. And he's sitting there at $12 million. So the greater conversation is not is he going to get paid, but what do you pay him? Do you even pay him more than Joe Mixon, who's at $12 million per year based on these numbers?
I'm going to make a statement, and then, Reggie, I'm going to ask you a question that you got to answer honestly. The statement is very simple. Kamara is needed to win right now because, like you said, whether it was you, whether it was Sproles, whoever the case may be, you need the Saints are so versatile when you have a running back who's a threat out the backfield but is also a threat at receiver. But the question then for me becomes, after the Saints lose Brees and you no longer have that stout dude at quarterback, aren't they going to have to do some sort of rebuild, Reggie? Because if you do have to do even a minor rebuild, not a major reconstruction, but if you even got to come in and fix the kitchen cabinets, you got to come in and retile them floors, do you want to be tied up to Kamara while you're doing so? Why don't you just try to leverage Kamara? That's my 2 cents.
Because you need continuity, right? You need to have some guys there who understand the culture of the football team. You need to have some guys there who understand what it is Sean Payton is looking for. So that's whether that's Jameis Winston or whether he goes out and drafts somebody, it doesn't matter. You still got to have those players. You still got to have big-time players to make big-time plays on Sundays. So I love Alvin Kamara with Michael Thomas, and you add Jared Cook in there. What quarterback wouldn't want to go to that offense? And then when you were comparing Alvin Kamara to Christian McCaffrey, well, Christian McCaffrey has gotten significantly more touches as those years have gone on. Alvin Kamara does not get those same amount of touches, so you can't really compare those numbers because those numbers don't really
I got to push back, Reggie, and I hate to do this because we just now met, but I got to push back. You said that McCaffrey is getting significantly more touches. You were correct. Statistically, you're correct. But in 2017, Kamara led the league in yards per touch. Number 1 overall, obviously. 2019, his yards per touch decreased by 2.5, and his rank in yards per touch went from 1st to 13th. So if you have somebody who statistically is decreasing, why would you give them more touches if they're doing less with the touches you're giving them? I'm not asking you a bias question. I just want your honest opinion. Like, you got to make that make sense for me.
You're saying yards per touch, right? If I'm a running back, right, and this happened to me when I was with the New Orleans Saints, I'm not the type of person that can go in and just have 6 carries and give you 100 yards rushing. I need more carries so I can get into a rhythm, right? And so if he's not getting enough touches to get into that rhythm, well, then how can his yards per carry possibly go up? They would have to go down, right? Because, again, if you're Christian McCaffrey, you know you're going to get, 20, 25 touches a game. So you know that you're going to get an opportunity to really get into a rhythm, right, and get into a feel for that game. It is very hard to do that when you're getting 5 touches as a running back, and then you're getting 6 catches as a receiver, and then you're getting some punt returns here or some whatever it is. There needs to be continuity, and it has to allow you to get into a rhythm. That's what a running back truly is. You need touches to get into a rhythm. Marcellus, if you were a defensive end and I only put you in there 5 times and I said, go get me 5 sacks, that would be really hard for you to do that.
Yeah, you're right. But, Reggie, don't just talk about me as a defensive end. You know I was top 5 Pop Warner All-American in history in terms of my running back ability. And I know what you're saying, but I also know when I started to have to look at my future and say, I ain't going to be a running back in the pros, it's time to look at that defensive end. And you know how coaches look at it? One is durability. And let's just be real. Alvin Kamara's not been as durable for whatever reason. But 2, those spark plugs don't fire the same. And coaches look at it, and that's in part why they don't give you the same amount of touches. I'm not going to try to make the answer binary. I think it's a gumbo of all of our responses. But in final, I want to ask you this quickly. Joe Mixon is making $12 million, and we see Christian McCaffrey at $16 million. Where do you think Kamara falls? Below Mixon or between McCaffrey and him?
I think he's probably somewhere in and around Joe Mixon. I don't think he's going to be up to Christian McCaffrey because he's not getting those kinds of opportunities. So, yeah, because you got to understand, when you're in the contract negotiations, the first thing they use is your stats, right? And if whatever that stat is, for whatever reason, regardless, if you weren't getting those amount of touches, what those yards say and what those touchdowns say is what most are likely they're going to use against you. And so for Alvin Kamara, I think he's going to be a little bit lower than that just because he's not getting the sheer volume of touches as these other guys are getting. So how can you possibly put him up there and say, you know, I deserve what Christian McCaffrey is getting or what, you know, somebody else is getting?
All right, my man. Appreciate it, Reggie.